All right, everybody, welcome to Frankie Lew Uncut. Now, what this is I have just set up my iPad or my phone or whatever recording device I'm using, and I'm just gonna talk over it. I'm just, that's it. It's that simple. So even when I walk away, even when I forget something, I'm not editing it out. I'm not, doing half the process off camera and only showing you the interesting parts. Anytime I remember to press record, I'm going to press record and film. And in this dead space, as you can see, where I'm doing absolutely nothing, well, not nothing on camera, I'm going to try to let you in on some of my thinking, some of my thought process, and maybe some inside stories or whatever comes to mind. I'm not even scripting this part. What I'm saying to you now is a total stream of consciousness. So, first, what I'm doing is I'm using a pattern that I've already had, that I've made, and I've kind of tweaked it a little bit before I got to this process, but you know, this is where we are. So I'm laying down my pattern, and this is how you know I'm serious because I grabbed a pattern punch. And a pattern punch is a tool that you use when you are trying to indicate notches on your pattern. So if you have notches on your pattern, that's already fancy because notches require you to do a little extra work when you're patterning. But they also are super helpful when you are putting your clothes back together, putting your panels back together to make sure that everything's going together the way it did when you made the pattern. That things aren't getting stretched in places they're not supposed to and gathered in places that they're not supposed to. I love using my notch cutter, but I also hate using my notch cutter because, as you can see, I have to keep stopping to clear the paper out of there. I don't know if I need to oil it. I don't know what I need to do, but the paper keeps getting stuck in there. And that ends up being a reason that sometimes, like, I'm just working really fast and I say, screw it, I'm not. I'm not going to use the notch cutter. But as you can see, I've also used push pins to put my pattern down. You can use pattern weights. Like if I were actually using a delicate fabric like a chiffon or a silk or something that's nice and smooth or flowy and thin, whatever, I wouldn't use the push pin method. But because this is just some scrap muslin that I'm using to test a pattern, push pins are perfectly fine. I have a special table that I made. It's just a regular IKEA table that I put some special board on top of. I got it from Home Depot. It wasn't expensive. I keep trying to look it up to find out what it is or how to ask for it, but I'm never successful. I have to literally just go and find it. But it's like it's like imagine somebody pressed paper together, or like it's giant extra thick cardboard. But that's what I have on my table in between, layers of muslin and batting to smooth it out. But it allows it to kind of function like a cork board, like a bulletin board, so I can use push pins to kind of help keep my fabric and pattern things in place. So I trace my pattern pieces onto fabric whenever I'm able, instead of cutting around the paper, because too many times you can accidentally cut into the paper, and every little cut over time it starts to warp the shape and change the shape of your pattern piece, and that's not very helpful. So I decided to go ahead and trace it, and then because I'm dealing with this huge scrap of muslin here and not like a nice fresh roll, what I'm doing is just finding the places that are on grain. That's why I'm folding it in this way. I'm trying to find the grain and just cutting out enough, knowing that, like, all right, this is how much I need. I know this is how much I need, and it's enough because I was able to trace the whole pattern piece out. But I don't cut it out of that, so that way this bulk of fabric, because, like, see how me leaning on the extra fabric is pushing it up and out of the way. Like, I don't want that happening as I'm cutting. So what I'm doing is going ahead and tracing the pattern piece down, and then make sure I have enough, and then just cutting around it so I can like be more refined about cutting it later when I have less stuff in the way. So right now, I'm just tracing. I'm really excited about this project. It's the bodice, or it's right now. I'm kind of making some kind of corset thing. I'm working on the foundation garment that I'm going to be wearing on my wedding day to get the exact shape I want. Because it all starts from there. Like, it doesn't matter, all the work I put into the dress if my foundation is not what I need it to be. And if I get a good foundation in the corset, then my body can kind of do what it wants because the corset will help keep me in the shape that I want. So I've been kind of experimenting with old corset patterns and figuring out which ones I like and what I want to do and how I want to adjust them. So I thought bring you in on this part of the project. So I'm also trying to give it a lot more care and attention than I normally give things I make myself. Like, I'm trying to treat myself like an actual client. I'm still cutting some corners because at the end of the day, I'm not paying myself. So there's some things I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about it the same way I would if this was a paying client. But I am I am trying to treat myself with a lot more care than I normally give myself, or projects that I know only I'm wearing, only I'm the one who cares what it looks like on the inside. So, because this is also my way of being able to tell other brides in the future of what the process is like. It's, I have documentation, I have, that I can refer to, even if I don't share this with anybody else, but, my subscription audience, I can always go back and say, oh no, this is how long this actually takes me. Not how long it should take me, not how long it should take someone else. This is how long it takes me, and I have evidence to prove it. So I don't undersell or oversell or underestimate really what things take. Because it's hard for me to imagine sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I can do blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, I can do something quickly. But I also have to factor in running out of thread and having to go shop for all the materials. I have to factor in, some days Sam is great at the studio. Some days he's a terror at the studio. So I always have to remember those things and factor in life. And that's the part that I keep deleting is is all those life things. See, there I go again, trying to find something to clean that out with. So, but it is helpful. It is helpful to have the notches in the pattern. It is worth doing the step, even if I do have to clean it out every time or come up with something else. It is worth it to have the notches. It is worth it to make sure the notches work. And to make sure that they're included in the pattern and in your fabric. Just use the push pin to push it through. It's doesn't even take a lot of effort. It just gets stuck in there. I don't know why. I have no idea why. The corset shape I'm going for is a very snatched waist with bust cups. Um, I do want bust cups. I don't know why, but I do. We'll see. I might, over time, after getting them together, decide against it. But for right now, I very much want bust cups to support me and, give me the shape that I want, no matter what style of dress I end up, finishing out with. But so this one it's sleeveless, so it's still, there's no straps or anything, but I do think I may add some straps just to give some extra support, because like right now, everything, when I wear this style corset that I've made it shorter before, um it puts all the weight of my bust on my rib cage and not on my shoulders, which is a dream. So I don't mind putting straps on it knowing that some of the weight is shared throughout my rib cage as opposed to all of it being on my shoulders, because that's what I don't want. But again, this is all experiment. We'll see how it goes and see what I want. Forgive me, like I said, this is Frankie Lew Uncut. Even the voiceover is uncut. And people like ask me what are good marking tools, and you can see I'm just using an ink pen. I wish I had a better one, but I'd have to clean the studio to find all the pens that I know I own. Um, and I'm too impatient to clean the entire studio before work, so I end up just cleaning the small space I need at the time. And then going for there, because like I only have limited hours, and to me I'm like, ugh, if I spend half the time I have here cleaning, then I'm not getting any work done. So I'm just gonna work, even though it doesn't really ever take that long. But tell my brain that. Tell my brain that. But as you can see, like broken down here, patterns are just the puzzle pieces. It's just the puzzle pieces. Like if you think of the final garment as a 3D puzzle, and they used to sell those 3D puzzles. I know they used to. Um, if you think of the final garment as a 3D puzzle, the pattern pieces are just the individual puzzle pieces that, you know, put it all together. Like if you look at clothes, like just find something in your closet and look at it and look at where every seam comes together and know that each one of those items lays flat. Each thing lays flat on its own. And it's how you put the seaming together, how you cut it. What do you cut it on the bias? You cut it on the grain. Like all those little things are how you manipulate this flat piece of fabric to make something that has shape and can stand on its own depending on what you what you make out of it. I think that's why sewing is so, or just pattern making and all that. It's just so interesting and intriguing to me because it is this logical step by step process. Which is to me is very much like math, but I know some people hear math and like run away screaming. But I never felt that way about math, so it wasn't really a big deal to me. It's crazy to think about all those notches, but like I said, I'm trying to take my time. My poor Shady Pine shirt that I'm wearing has seen better days. It's a gift from one of my absolute best friends, Kate. It's for my Golden Girls fans. You would know exactly what Shady Pines is. But as you can see, it gets a lot of wear. It used to be a very vivid shirt. But as you can see, it's looking kind of vintage. It's looking kind of vintage right now. I'm gonna wear it until all of it's gone. And I also picked like the absolute worst angle to be filming. All you see is my gut. All you see is my gut and the bottom of my boobs. But whatever. This is it. This is what the process is. This is me in the studio. This is what I'm offering you as an inside look. This is what Frankie Uncut is supposed to be. And I have to get over it and just let you in, okay? I just have to suck it up and let you in. So don't be too hard on me. Please don't be too hard on me. Now, if I weren't using scrap fabrics, this process would go a lot faster because I could just lay out you know, my fabric on the table the way you would normally do. I could lay all my pattern pieces down at the same time, trace them all at once, cut them out all at once, and it would go a lot faster. But I'm trying to economize and use scraps so I can save my fresh muslin for when I need much larger pieces, or, like I have a custom client coming up, some custom overalls, so I need to save the resources for those kinds of projects when I can. So for me, I'm trying to use these scraps here. And so yeah, it does make things take a little bit longer, but it's negligible at the end of the day. I know I need to get new pens though. I definitely need to get new pens. I used to really love those Pilot friction erasable pens. I remember they were big when we on my seasonal project runway, and they gifted us a bunch. The only problem is they gifted us a bunch of colors that I can't really use on fabric, because they don't show up very well, or like it's just not like the particular pen isn't very good for the fabric, whatever. But they did have markers, and I'm telling, like, those are the best. It's just they they don't last very long because I use them so much. It's not a knock on the pen. I just use it that much. So, but I really do enjoy it. Now you do have to be careful with anything that says is erases from fabric. Even chalk. Like I have a chalk that I use that I've had for years. That I didn't know left like a ghost mark. And even on some fabric, like it came back. Like I ironed on it, it melted away, disappeared, wonderful. But then as it dried, it came back. I was like, hold on now. So I know now that I can't use that chalk on certain fabrics, because of that. But the same is true with a lot of these pens that say they are water soluble. Sometimes that means you could steam it away, right? But sometimes that means you have to actually physically get it wet. So you always need to really do a test on your fabric. Like just get a scrap of your fabric, cut a corner, and whatever you're planning on doing on a larger scale, just do it on a smaller scale and see. Write on it, iron it, see what happens. See if it shrinks. Measure it. Draw a line, measure it, iron it, and then remeasure that same line, just to know what it's gonna do, so you can make a game plan ahead of time. But yeah, I really liked those pens, and maybe when I get a little extra money, I can buy myself some more. But for now, this little ink pen is kind of working. I have to keep rubbing back and forth because sometimes I'll just make a line and it won't transfer, like it won't pick up. And I think that's probably when I first started using it in the process. And now I think it's fine, but because I don't trust it, I'm like, I'm like going back and forth. I used to have an art teacher that was like, "Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Those short strokes going back and forth. Just do a straight line, or just keep making a smooth circle until your hand, feels the rhythm, as opposed to these little hash marks." Sometimes I remember that advice clearly. Sometimes I don't. All right, I think we have like, what piece is this? It should be. I don't know how many pieces have I cut so far. I'm lost track. I've completely lost track. I know the pattern piece itself only has 6 pieces, but I also have a 3-part bust cut. And I don't remember if I cut that in this session or not. Yeah, this is the back. This is the 6th piece. So if I'm going in order, then that's what this piece is right here. This is the piece that's going to have all the lacing and all that good stuff. Now, when I make this mock-up, I don't actually put grommets or fresh lacing in this. I have some grommet tape that I use when I'm just testing out a corset. 'Cause I'm not trying to one waste a bunch of grommets trying to, put them in something that I may or may not use or have to adjust. And then just all that time. So no, I just have grommet tape, which just means it's a long piece of twill with grommets on the inside. It's not something I would use on a final corset because I don't think it's strong enough for that. But to test, that way I don't have to keep doing that process over and over again or wasting materials. Because once you use a set of eyelets, grommets, whatever you want to call them, you can't reuse them. So that's what I use, and hopefully I film myself. Remember to film myself doing it so you can see what I mean. This is also a good reason. It's a reason it's good to use a notch cutter because I had to flip over the pattern, so I can't see any of the notches I may have drawn. But because the notch cutter goes into the fabric and just removes that area, I can just slide my pin down in there. So it's not that big a deal if I have to flip this over. Now, I don't have any markings or anything other than notches on this pattern at the moment. So it doesn't matter that I can't see. But if I did, I would want to definitely transfer those markings. Absolutely. Whether that's like, oh, I want to put a bone here or I want to put a button here or whatever the heck I want to mark. Sometimes the People's Court is my is my only company in the studio. Listen to Judge Million yell at people. Some of these court cases, y'all, be crazy. And you think to yourself, really? Because the People's Court, okay, listen, the People's Court in this iteration, this version of it, not whatever it has become now, is a real court show. I know that because I had to file small claims on someone in LA, and I went through the actual process with the, whatever district I was in, found the right courthouse, all that good stuff, paid a process server, all of that, right? I had to do all of that because I was going to take him to actual court. But the minute I did that, I got physical mail from every court show that is on TV. Every single last one. Including the People's Court. Because what happens is, as soon as your case goes public, because it is a public document, it is a public thing, everybody can see it and find it if they know where to look. People, that's what they do. They scroll court cases and they see which ones are interesting, which ones would make good TV. Let's reach out to those people, and what they'd have you do is drop your case, right, and go into litigation with or arbitration with them, whatever it would be called, right? I couldn't find my person. My person had moved, so I couldn't serve them because I didn't know where they were. And by the time all that was happening, it was 2020. The show was winding down, so the opportunity was missed for me. But I was excited because the show pays the judgment, so I wouldn't have had to worry about if that man was gonna pay me or not, because the show was gonna pay me, and however he paid it, I could care less because I was gonna get my money. Versus in real court, you might win, but that doesn't mean the money's going in your bank account tomorrow. It means you have a legal right to the money, and you can pursue it however the law allows people to pursue their money. So you still have to do the work, whether that's call a debt collector, whether that's put a lien on their property or, garnish their wages. You still have to do work to get it, and sometimes that work costs you money. So it ends up keeping people out of small claims because nobody wants to do all that work to still not get their money. But for the show, not only do you get an appearance fee, but you're guaranteed to get your money. They deal with it. So I was ready. And I love me some Judge Million. It was like a dream come true. So it was disappointing. The new version of the show is you can tell them people are acting. You can tell those people because you can even whenever a show says call in an audition, it's a problem. So, but the original, even with the other judges were even faster, but still it was real. So it's just very entertaining to listen to, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. All right, so I'm finally cutting these bust cups. Now this the way I came up with this pattern is I found a bra that I accepted the fit of. It wasn't perfect, but I accepted the fit of it, and the way it fit my bust tissue, right? And then I just laid the fabric onto it and made this kind of weird shaped pattern, but it fits. It's a decent enough shape. I accept it. I will tweak it as I go. But that's how I came up with it. So you could technically do the same as if you find a bra that you like, just pull it out, lay it out on the table, cover it in fabric, trace where you've pinned it together to make it fit, and there's your pattern. I mean, obviously it's, to me that sounds simple, and I'm sure to some of you you're like, what are you talking about? I guess I can do a video on that one day if you want me to, but right now, um, me explaining it this way is all you're gonna get. See, you're even getting the brain farts, you're even getting the zone out. You're getting it all. You're getting it all. You're getting the zoom in on whatever I'm zooming in on. I don't know why, but we're doing it. Maybe I just wanted you to see my dirty nails up close, or I guess I think I'm actually cutting the things down. I'm about to actually cut. That's it. Now oh my goodness, these scissors. So what I cut the individual pieces out was those Kai scissors and that's sitting in the background with the black handles. Now those are great. They just need to be sharpened. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. Okay. But these scissors I got as a gift from a wonderful friend, lovely friend, and they cut like butter. Oh my God. I am so excited to use these anytime I can. But I definitely don't, I'm trying to keep them as sharp as long as I can. Because I already don't have no money to get all the other scissors I have sharpened. So I'm like, we're going to save that piece. We're going to save these scissors for when I'm really, really doing some cutting. And definitely, I don't label all of my bust cups, but I'm labeling, what's what so I know. So I know what's going on. Everything else, like, it's pretty, like, as long as I keep the pattern with me, it's pretty self-explanatory where it's supposed to go. So now we are going to cut everything out. And what's cool about certain fabrics is when you iron them together, like, just all I'm doing is going to do is just iron these pieces. But when you iron them together, they kind of stick together. It's like they got glued together or something. I don't know. But it's wonderful. It works. I'll look up why it works one day and share with you my findings. But it works, and it makes it so much easier to cut without having to deal with pinning. Now, I can't tell you what I just disappeared to do. Maybe find something. Oh yeah, I was probably trying to find something better to watch, because YouTube just be auto playing stuff and I'm like, that ain't gonna work. Because I'm also doing this voiceover without the volume, so the volume would give me a clue on what's going on, but I don't have the volume the volume up to help me. Cutting these pieces out. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. Ugh. Ugh. Now, see, you always want it. So this is, if you look, this is why cutting shears are shaped the way they are. Because as you can see, with me cutting, I'm able to keep my scissors nice and flat. I'm not, angling them up or down. I'm not lifting anything off the table. I'm able to keep them nice and flat so I can get a nice straight cut through both layers of fabric. Ugh, they're beautiful. The only drawback is that the fabric on my table that's covering my table has gotten a little loose. So every now and then my scissors, the sharp end of my scissors snag. Because I think also the floor is crooked or something, so because the table's not like laying straight. So my scissors eventually will snag and stop this process. But it doesn't, it's fine. It's still beautiful. Still cuts smoothly. Now, if you are someone who is still learning to cut, pin together always. Pin together always. I mean, I should even be pinning, but I'm good. So, mind your business. Don't. You know what your limitations are. If you have the same limitations as me, you're good. I'm so excited about this process. Not just because it's my wedding corset, but it's because it's my wedding corset. Darn right. You know what it is. It's just weird because this whole process has felt like one, like just like costuming a show. Like it just feels like I'm doing costume fitting for me. And I don't know. I think that helps keep some of the emotions out of it. So that way I can stay objective and just like go and work and create. But it is still funny because when I'm trying on the dresses, I'm like in and out, in and out, in and out. And everybody that's with me is like, that was fast. It's like, yeah, I'm trained. I know what I'm doing. You know how many costume fittings I've done as a costumer and as a performer? I am fast. Get me out of there. So, it's just so beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. Now, see how that's all foldy and lifty and on my nerves? It would have been like that with the whole fabric if I had cut it. If I had cut it right when I folded it and traced it. Get out of here. Look at my mannequin back there on the floor. Oh my goodness. I guess watching these videos will help me know just how chaotic everything is because I'm not, because I can see around me now. Yes. Nice and crisp. Just helps the fabric lay together. Yeah, before I cut, making sure I'm darkening some of those notches so I can see. Because sometimes, things just look like, a bleed in the ink. It doesn't look like an actual notch. So, and after I cut them out, then I can go through with my scissors and just cut snips in those places. You can choose to do it now if you want to or not, but I'm just gonna do mine later. Now, normally, how I'm like lifting it up and moving all around and all that stuff, you do not want to do that if it is not pinned together. But, like I said, because of the way I ironed it together and the way the fabric is behaving, I feel more comfortable doing it that way without pinning it. And I'm leaving the folded edge for last. So even if, like the fabric isn't separating entirely because it's still connected at that folded edge. What number we on now, y'all? I don't even remember. All right, okay, 4. Halfway through. This will be halfway through. And then we'll get to sit down and sew. I'm over here watching and like analyzing, like, all right, okay, here's this, that. Ah. I'm recording this while my son has chill time and I can hear E-I-E-I-O in the background. I hope you all can't. I hope you all can't hear E-I-E-I-O. It still blows my mind that this is my life. Now, once I put all this together and try it on, I already know I'm going to have to make adjustments to the pattern. You just always do. Like, it's, it just is a part of the custom process where you tweak it and tweak it and tweak it. And because once you fix something else, it allows you to see how, another part needs help. So, definitely going to be a process of tweaking, and so it's definitely not a finalized pattern piece. And the scissors just look good. Look at that. They just solid black. I love it. All right, we on second to last piece, y'all. This is truly a challenge for me. Like, really, like, really just putting myself out there and putting people behind the scenes in an unpolished way. But that's what I'm trying. This is why I'm doing it, to challenge myself, to be as authentic as possible, so that way I don't keep having these barriers. Because trying to be polished presents a barrier. Like, I want it to be perfect, so that means I have to wait until my hair is done. I have to wait until this is done. Oh, then I have to wait until I have time to sit down and do this. Oh, I have to, and then nothing happens. So I know you're not here for my editing skills. I know you're not. You couldn't be. Someone lied to you. If you are, you're here to see me work, and so I figured, Frankie Uncut will be that opportunity to just see me work. This is our last piece. Now, I think before I jump into sewing, I do decide to go ahead and cut out some boning channels, because I'm trying to test out a different way to do boning channels. A way that doesn't involve top stitching on the outside of the corset at all, or involve using two layers. Like, I'm just trying to come up with some different methods for ways to do boning channels, and so I end up cutting out that, I think, next. But yeah, this is the very last piece of the corset. And this is just the main body of it. There's all kinds of things that go into it, not just boning channels, but you definitely want to wherever you put your eyelets, you want to reinforce that area with more fabric. You want to put more boning in those areas, so it requires extra boning channels, or however you decide you're going to get it in there. But right now we're just worried about the main components. No facings, no bindings, no finishes. This is just, let's put it on my body and see what happens. All right, where do I go? What do I do next? It's a mystery to me right now, y'all. I don't remember. Okay, it looks like I go and find more. Okay, so yeah, there were some things that were already cut on the bias, so I grabbed this to go ahead and get that going. Okay, yeah, so this is me finding the bias. And I'm making sure to use the I'm using my own biased tape because it's the same fabric, so it's going to behave the same way. And I'm not worrying about having any sizing or whatever else comes on pre-made bias. It's right here. It's easy. It's cheap. Um, and I'm using bias because some of those seams, as you can see, they curve, and I don't want to use a straight grain trim or something like that and it not be able to follow that curve. So we're gonna do it on the bias. So most likely this is me looking for a ruler or something, or this is me forgetting what I'm looking for and wandering around until something in me remembers what I'm looking for. So okay, who knows? I came back with a pen. Yeah, I'm sure I'm looking for a ruler and can't find one, even though I just had one. But everything goes everywhere, and I can't blame it on Sam this time. I can't at all blame it on Sam. This is all me. All me. There we go. I found a ruler. I found a ruler. And I love these little clear plastic rulers. Um, these little 1 inch guys. They're perfect. They're nice and flexible, especially for small projects or small parts of the project. Not small projects, because Lord have mercy, there's nothing small about this. But for smaller in size parts of the project, it's perfect. For adding seam allowance, it's perfect. For making little 1 inch bias strips, it's perfect. Because these first strips are going on the casing for the underwire. The underwire casing for the bust cups. I figured out a way that I like doing it that is more successful to me. Because there's ways that people do things that work and everybody else can make them do it well and do it right and all that mess. But for whatever reason, when I do it, it don't come out right. And so I have to come up with a different way to make my brain make it make sense. So I feel like maybe I found that with the way I do my bust cups now. Maybe. I don't know. We're going to find out as this process goes along. But yeah, right now we are going ahead. We're trying to prep as much as we can before we sit down to sew. Because every time you get up from one machine, it adds time every time you have to get up from one machine to the next. So if you notice, if you have to make 10 of something, if you make each individual one, it'll take a certain amount of time. But if you assembly line it and do all 10 steps, or like one step for all 10 items at once, then move on to the next step for all 10 items at once, then that means you're getting up to go to the iron one time, not 10 times. You're getting up to go to the serger one time, not 10 times. So it ends up saving you so much time. And it doesn't seem like it would, but somehow it does. So I'm trying to remember that by prepping as much as I can before I sit down at the machine to start sewing. So that way I'm not interrupted by, I need this other part that I didn't prep for, and now I'm going to skip it, and it's not going to work out well for me. So I don't know if I'm on the phone. I'm probably texting somebody. Trying to figure out what's going on with the baby. It doesn't seem like I'm trying to find something new to watch, but who knows? It's very possible. It's very possible. But yes, you're seeing it right here. This is what happens. This is what happens. But hey, I have the right to send a text to figure out what's going on with my baby, okay? Don't be like, oh, this is why things take so long. You shush. I'm sure you text people at work too. This is no different. This is no different. right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the boning channels. Yes, so I'm being responsible instead of being like, I'll do it later. I'm very proud of myself for all that I am getting done on this project. it's only We're only 45 minutes into it though, and I'm already proud of myself. That should be a sign to you how hard this can be for me sometimes. If simply cutting out the basic pattern pieces. Because like I said, this is just the base components. Like most likely this is going to be layers of things, so I'll have to cut this out all over again out of different fabric multiple times, interfacing, all that jazz, you know? So this is just one small part of it. And like I said, I hope that by watching these uncut sessions, whether you playing them in the background or whatever, that they, I don't know, help you see. Like I had a student over this last semester that finally put a sleeve in something or whatever. Like once they finished sewing it, they looked up and realized, oh my God, this is something wearable. And I said, how's it feel? How's it feel to finally make something wearable and, see how it's all made and this, that, and the other? And they said, it makes me grateful for all that I have. I have so many clothes, and never once did I stop to think about what it took to make them. And now I know, and I'm just so grateful. And honestly, that's a good reaction. Like at the end of the day, she's exactly right. Like this is a skill that requires time and training, especially if you are trying to do it at any kind of professional level. You know, it it is not something that is just snap your fingers and it's done, and it's not something that you can just watch somebody do one time and think, oh, I got it. Like, no, it is definitely something that requires practice and investment and focus and all of those things. So people be like, oh, I want to be a designer and this, that, and the other. I'm like, do you? I don't know if you want to be a designer or if you just want to draw pretty pictures, because that's what some people just want to do. They want to draw pretty pictures. They don't want to actually understand the in-depth process that goes into making clothes, because like, yeah, there are designers who literally just draw pictures, but they've earned that because they did all the other work beforehand, or they're working with a team of people who know how to do this already, and are walking them through it and answering their questions. They're not just drawing pictures. You can't even just draw a picture and send it to a manufacturer and call it a day. You still have to be able to answer questions like what fabrics you want to make it out of, how many, what the sizing, what your sizing is. Do you want a standard sizing? Do you have a specific measurement that your small, medium, and larges are? Like, these are all things that go into actually designing a just regular mass manufactured, ready to wear clothing line. Like, it's not as simple as just, oh, let me just draw a pretty picture and now I've designed something. No. It doesn't end there. There's more, much more after that. Or people who say, I want to be a designer, and really what they want to do is put their logo on a t-shirt. And it's like, that's fine, all that's wonderful, but these designers who have their logos on a t-shirt, no one's buying the Chanel logo just because they think it's cute, because there's tons of cute art out there, that is cute but doesn't cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They're buying it because it is linked to a skilled luxury designer brand. So yeah, if you want to be a designer, it's got to be more than t-shirts, because nobody cares about your t-shirt. Nobody cares about your t-shirt if they don't care about you or the story that your t-shirt is telling or whatever. Like, there's just more to it. And I've learned in so many different ways what that avenue is like. I've gone through so many different versions of what thought I wanted this career to be. And mass manufacturing was one of those. And, once I saw what the cost could be like and what that could mean for just different things like waste, garment waste, money waste, I was like, maybe not. Let's maybe not go that route. So I really feel settled in the costuming custom route, even though like it's the route I tried to avoid all this time. Um, I've seen other things, and now I'm like, nah, I think this is where I live. I think this is for me. Costume and custom, costume and custom. So I'm just making different strips. I'm not really counting how many I need or any of that. I'm just making as many as I feel like making right now, and then if I need more, I know I can. I know I can make more. It's just strips. Because I can tell by this time I'm like either down to the wire or feeling guilty about being away so long. Even though I don't have to, I've got an amazing partner that like does not pressure me or rush me or make me try to come home or ain't. No, it's like work as long as you need to, babe. It just, but I want to be home with them for whatever reasons they are. There's whether it's guilt, whether it's missing them, whether it's whatever it is, I am trying to get home. Um, and so I can tell I'm probably getting to that point where I'm feeling like, okay, I've got to stop. I've got to stop. But sometimes I just get so invested in what I'm doing that I don't want to stop no matter what. So I can just already see that I'm getting to that. All right, I'm aware of this now. And it's especially hard in the summer when it doesn't get dark until late, because you think, you're using the light to determine how much time you spent and all that, but the light's not changing in the ways that you're used to, and so you don't realize how much time has gone by. So I do know that this is the home stretch of cutting things out. We have all of the pattern pieces cut out. I do forego cutting the cups out of foam because I still want to play with the fit and make sure that that's what I want before I cut into the foam that I have. Because again, I'm using scrap pieces. Because foam, oh my God, it's just not. There's so much that buying it here, buying it in the chain stores, it's so expensive. So I definitely have to make sure I get foam and all those things when I when I go shopping in LA. And I hope you'll come with me. I hope you'll sign up to go on the trip. I hope you'll, check it out, see what it's like, get some things you like. Because it's going to be great. Like, I go and I get inspired. Just like, I would just go and just walk around when I lived there. Like, I didn't need anything sometimes. I just wanted to go be there. I just wanted to go be there and see what kind of new materials and toys and options were out there. What kind of fun things were there to play with? Like, what could I experiment with? What could I put together? What was there? And I always found something fun and unique and amazing. Now I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to go ahead and pre-press these or leave them. I think I'm going to go ahead and I ended up pre-pressing them, pre-pressing everything. I think that's the last step that I ended up doing. Now this part, you gotta be careful, you guys, because like this iron is hot and it needs to be hot to do the things that I needed to do. But it's hot. You see the steam coming off of that. You think, oh, it's the iron that I have to worry about because, as long as I don't touch the iron, it's fine. But even the fabric can be very hot still. Very, very hot. So be very, very careful. See, I jumped right there. Be very, very careful when you're ironing small, tedious, intricate things like this, because It is easy to burn yourself, even and thinking you're being careful because you're like, oh, I'm just, it's just I'm not touching the iron. I know not to touch the iron. I'm not an idiot. Well, yeah, no, but the fabric under the iron, the thing that you just pressed, can be super hot as well. The space underneath it, because you press something over and over again, like the actual space. Now, I have um, batting in between the muslin and the whatever that is I told you I bought. That stuff from Home Depot. So it can take the heat. Like it's meant for that. Like I got the kind to make for ironing boards, so that way it was nice and smooth and whatnot. But and it didn't burn underneath. But I have a silicone shoe that I put my uh, iron on, and it's still scorched in that area. Like it's still brown in that area because it's just so hot. This iron in particular is a gift from my good friend Heather. She moved away. She ran away. She ran away. She didn't just move away. She ran away. Her and Scott. Her and Scott, wonderful, wonderful designers, both of them. Ran away to Portugal because they like, look, this country is gonna go the way of every of every revolution if we don't get the hell out of here. So they did. And when she shut down her bridal shop, she I was able to grab some of the things that were left over that people hadn't already snagged up in this wonderful iron. Because I already had one, but it was worse for wear. I'd had it since college, and she's still over on the shelf somewhere, just kind of display. Once you get to that time in your life when you get to retire, you just get to look good. So that's where she's at now. She's just on the shelf looking good. And Heather's iron is now in service to us. Yeah, my biggest fear is that I'm gonna finish recording this whole thing. This whole thing. It's gonna be like about an hour, and I find out that none of the voice recording worked for some reason. For something. I don't know. I don't know why I feel that way, what it would be, but I feel like something's gonna go wrong. So I think we're in the home stretch. We are in the home stretch. Just a few more. Now, see what I did? You see? Work cleaner, Francis Ann. Look at that. I caught my ruler. I swear. Mm-mm-mm. But whatever. Anyway, moving on. I'm sure I said the same things to myself out loud. I swear I never take the time to do this for myself. For my clients, like I said, for everybody else, this is what I do. But for myself, I'm always like rushing and just, you know, doing just a half job. So this will also be a test of patience for me, and just also self care. Just knowing that, like, I deserve the effort too. Like, why don't I? And that if I give myself the effort, it'll be that much easier to give my clients the effort. So this is you're kind of going on a journey with me in this in this process that I hope you're ready for. But I'm assuming you asked for it or you wouldn't be here. I didn't force this upon you, I guess. See, that steam is hot, man. It's hot. The goal is one day to get enough cameras, like webcams, that can stay stationary in the studio in their place, to where I can just click turn on and it'll, already be in place for the table and for the sewing machine and for, this, that, and the third. But Right now, we just have the iPad getting these weird angles because it's the best. It's the best we're gonna do if we're gonna get it done. So yeah, so here we are. Here are all the pieces cut, bias pieces cut, folded in half, ready to be sewn. Here's all my pattern pieces ready to be sewn. So thank you for this first episode of Frankie Lew Uncut. I hope it wasn't terribly boring.